What's up, baseball family? Today we're going to talk Carlos Correa, Hall of Fame hopefuls, and introducing the Baseball Together book club right now. 9 Plus Us presents the Baseball Together podcast with your hosts, Blackjack Brad and Kansas City Little Big Briggy Blue Eyes. And now, Baseball Together. Baseball family, welcome to another episode of our wonderful podcast that we hope you think is as wonderful as we do. We're really excited that you're here. I'm Brig, co-hosted by Mr. Brad, man, right over there. How are you, Brad?
I'm doing well, thank you, Brig. How are you this fine Monday?
Chipper. Just chipper. I'm as chipper as Mr. Jones himself. That's how I'm feeling today. It's wonderful. We didn't think we'd have a lot to cover today until we suddenly did have a lot to cover. So we're going to jump right in. Stay tuned, baseball family, for the end of this segment. As you heard announced earlier, we have a new special, exciting thing that we're going to get into involving books. But first, let's jump right back down to earth and talk about Liam Hendricks. Liam Hendricks has been officially diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And basically what we have to say about that is that our prayers are going out to him and his family. Cancer has touched our lives in a very, very near way, and we're familiar with all that he stands to endure moving forward. And if there's anything we could do, we would. So best of luck to him and his family, to the White Sox fans and the organization as a whole. We hope for the best.
Exactly right. I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you, Brig.
You're welcome. Moving on to a far less important. Just important.
Yeah, there you go.
That Mr. Cabbage Patch himself has signed an extension with the Red Sox.
Hoping that's how you're going to introduce this.
That's right. He for those of you who don't know who Mr. Cabbage Patch is, it's Rafael Devers. They have agreed to an 11-year, $331 million Chain Bloom golden parachute. This is the thing that has saved Chain Bloom from all of the pitchforks and Chaim Bloom. Shut up, Brad. Thank you. You're so good.
It does look like Chaim, though. It's Chaim. Yeah,
it's written Chaim. Okay, Chaim Bloom.
Chaim.
Yes. Oh, Mike just rolled. Maybe I'll just call him Chaim just to bug Mike Farnes because I'd bug the crap out of him. No, Mr. Bloom is now no longer the subject of quite as much irritation and anger from Red Sox fans as he has been, letting Mookie Betts and Xander Bogaerts and those guys go. They've signed Mr. Cabbage Patch. So very excited for the Red Sox to at least have kept one player that is decent in their system.
Yeah, it is a big deal, though, because initially they had signed in, 1 year, $17 million just to avoid arbitration this year. And it's like, I'm sure fans were like, oh, there it is. That's it. One more year of Rafael Devers, and then they're going to trade him away or let him walk eventually. Like, they had to do this. Absolutely had to do this.
Yeah.
Like, ownership, Chaim Bloom, all of them had to do it to save face with the fan base because, like you said, you lose Mookie Betts, who is a once-in-a-generation player. You lose Xander Bogaerts, who is one of the top 5 shortstops in the game right now. For sure. And then you've got Devers, who is probably top 5 third baseman.
Yeah, once his defense...
You got to keep one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, and Trevor Story is the only other thing you have to show for it. It's like you can't...
And he had like a burst of a really good play last year, but
it wasn't enough to make up the difference. No.
Nope.
Any easy. So we're excited for Red Sox fans, and we hope the best for them. Not the royal we, just the general we hope for the best for them.
Well, this is one thing with it. Is that you would hope that this is the first sign of the Red Sox being like, okay, like he's going to be our corner piece. We're going to build around him. You know, obviously 11 years is a long time, you know, like we talked about hometown talent, everything. But baseball is better when teams like the Red Sox, Yankees, Dodgers, when they're good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 100% fact.
I would like for the Red Sox to be good. Not that good, but competitive. They haven't been.
No, not last year anyway.
Yeah. No. So
anyway, that's all I have to say about that. Do you have anything else you want to say about that?
No, nothing else. That's fine. Because like I said, I don't want them to be that good because then that just makes for More crowding at the finish line, right?
Yeah, well, and an angry Brig. So let's not do that. Let's skip over that like a rock on a glassy lake. All right, Trevor Bauer has been officially DFA'd from the Dodger organization. And I don't think this came as any surprise to anybody. We saw this coming probably a long time ago.
And we talked about it last week for sure too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this is good. But it officially happened. The Dodgers are going to eat the $22.5 million from this year that they owe him, and then that's it. They've cut ties completely. Right. Now, this affords Trevor Bauer an opportunity to play anywhere he wants at kind of an interesting time in the hot stove season to be picked up by a team. Most teams have wrapped up all of their free agency their free agency grabs, and it's just this, I feel like, is a bombshell in team development, team planning across the league, that now what are they going to do, right? Especially if you're Steve Cohen and you spend all your money.
Well, this is the thing, though, is that nobody has to give him any money because the Dodgers are paying him that $22.5 million so that somebody can bring him in for the league minimum, and he's still getting all that money. He's not missing out on anything. He has his pick of the litter of anybody really who is willing to bring him on, given the circumstances and everything that's surrounding him.
Right.
So that's going to be the thing. That's what's going to limit people bringing him in, is do they want to deal with everything that comes with Trevor Bauer before and right now?
Yeah.
That being said, Seattle needs a fifth starter. There's going to need a fifth starter.
Last week.
Yeah, exactly. And I maintain that I think he would be a perfect fit for them, not only as far as the pitching need. I think that clubhouse is strong enough and has enough leadership that, like, if he's dinking around, because Jesse Winker got run out of town based on a report that guys were upset that his shenanigans were not sitting well in the clubhouse.
Yeah.
Right. So if Trevor Bauer comes in and guys are like, okay, like, we don't appreciate what's going on here, they can let Dipoto know and he'll be out of town. Yeah. Especially if you bring him in on the league minimum. And that fits John Stanton's budget.
It does. Hey, that's a really good point.
Dude's cheap.
He is cheap, and he has made it very clear that they will not push past any of their budget. Not one time. Not $1.
Yeah. I think this is a perfect fit for Seattle.
That's a great analysis. Look at you. You're so excited. Yeah. I'd just like to see him throw a ball over Yankee Stadium center field wall right into Monument Park.
Into Monument Park.
Yeah. I don't care who he's playing for at that point. I just want to see that happen. Just get real bugged about something. Maybe the umpires check him, because I don't think he's been around since the umpires have started aggressively checking pitchers. So that'll be new, and it'll be really interesting.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
All right, Carlos Correa continues to be unsigned. We've gone yet another 7 days with no news, not even news really, of what is happening, other than teams say and we think it's coming from Scotty B and his camp, where they're saying, like, we have another undefined team that's interested. No, there's a couple of teams that are no longer interested, and we're like, we don't believe you, bud.
Right.
We don't believe anything you say. It's just a mess.
Yeah.
It's a total mess.
And a report did come out over the weekend where it said the Mets were starting to get frustrated and getting ready to walk away. And I was like, oh boy. And not necessarily, it's like with the Bauer thing, not necessarily the fact that I wanted to come to Seattle, but it just gets so juicy. It's so dramatic.
It is dramatic.
And it's so fun. And these are the type of things I love with the hot stove, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, is he? Isn't he? Is he? Isn't he? Because we got it a little bit with Judge.
Yeah, a little bit.
And we're getting it. Like, this is really drawn out for Carlos Correa. It's going to be interesting. It says that the thing that I saw today was that John Heyman yesterday said that the Mets are still the most likely, but they got to get all the language worked out.
Language.
Yeah.
That's code for we're uncertain.
Yeah.
So that's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
You follow.
Let's move on because the Braves have a former GM that nobody can pronounce his name, but it's John and then something else. Just kidding. Coppola, I believe is how you pronounce it. He has been reinstated from the ineligible list. This means that he received a lifetime ban from baseball in 2017 for circumventing the international signing rules between 2015 and 2016. Rob Manfred has come out and said, quote, "We can confirm that Mr. Coppola has been reinstated. Given the more than 5 years he spent on the ineligible list, the contrition he expressed, and the other steps he took in response to this matter." Here's my question to you, Brad.
Okay.
Of all the people who've ever received a lifetime ban from baseball and who have expressed an adequate level of contrition, does this guy fall in the top 3 names?
Now, I don't honestly, I'm going to say I don't know just because they didn't release any letter, right? Like they released the Pete Rose letter, and I'm sure it's Pete Rose's people who released the letter.
Yeah.
I don't think this guy's people released a letter saying, this is what he said to the commissioner, and this is what we're citing to be reinstated. That's not a very long lifetime ban, first off. 5 years?
Nah, come on.
But also, like, I don't know. I certainly wouldn't hire him as if I was in a front office. Like, I'd probably hire what's his name? Who was Jeffrey Luhnow? Was he the one who was the GM for the Astros?
Yeah.
I would hire him far before I'd hire this guy.
For sure.
Because it's clear that the Braves don't need him. Didn't need him.
No. Yeah.
That they actually got better once he was gone.
So I agree with you. And I think that that's an interesting part of the story, but not nearly as interesting as having overturned a lifetime ban. Come on. You can't issue a lifetime. This almost diminishes the weight of lifetime ban.
I would think it does. Yeah.
That's what bothers me.
Yeah, because as I was sitting reading about this, I was like, so I am like firm in the mud about Pete Rose not getting his lifted. But at the same time, though, like if you're going to give somebody a lifetime ban that only lasts 5 years, but you're not going to consider somebody else's lifetime ban, or somebody who has a lifetime ban who is no longer alive,
who was never found as having done anything wrong ever.
Yeah.
Merely privy to at least one conversation, and that's it.
Yeah. That was the one that got me more than the other one.
That's what I'm not talking about. Pete Rose.
Okay, good.
No,
because we've been there.
About Joe Jackson.
Yeah, Shoeless Joe. I mean, I feel like he at least deserves a look at this point, so he can get in the hall.
There's literally no evidence to support that he had anything to do in throwing that game, that series. Nothing. Yeah. He played brilliantly.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Oh man. So that's my only beef with this is Rob Manfred has again taken a weird left-hand turn or step into what the crap by calling something a lifetime ban and then revoking the lifetime ban and reinstating somebody. I don't care if he ever works in baseball ever again. That's different. The big problem for me is if we're like, are we giving these out lightly? Is that the problem?
It sure seems like it. It sure seems like it.
I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, you could have appeased you could have appeased baseball fans by giving Carlos Correa, Jose Altuve, and Alex Bregman a lifetime ban, and then 2 years later saying, "Okay, that's fine."
Yeah, but that would have been just as wrong as this.
Carlos Beltran, anybody else?
Why don't you give him a 3 to 5 year suspension? What? And the same with this guy. Okay, so he tinkered with the system, he broke the rules or whatever, and you're going to reinstate him 5 years later? Just suspend him for 5 years. They did it with Bauer, and they cut his in half too.
Yeah, it's true. He was suspended
for
2 years.
What's going on?
Well, and this is the thing too, is that the one with Major League Baseball, or the one with Bauer between him and Major League Baseball, that was cut short by an arbitrator. An arbitrator said you cannot suspend him for this time, and which we said like forever ago.
Yeah, it was way too long. Yeah,
it was way too long. And then, but this one was Rob Manfred who made this decision.
Yeah.
Not an arbitrator being like, nah, hold up. No, this is Rob Manfred being like, second thought.
It's disgusting.
Because this was on his watch. Because this was Manfred's like first year, 2016,
something like that. Yeah, it was.
So he would have been the one
during his tenure,
right? This was not a Bud Selig suspension.
So here's and this is the problem. It's like, can we trust Rob Manfred? I mean, we've gone back and forth. We've gathered differing opinions. We've understood it from all sorts of different empathetic angles. And here's another piece of evidence that makes me wonder whether we as the fans can trust him. And I know he's not working for us. I got it.
Right,
I know.
Right. Well, this is the thing too, is somebody does not have to be a business owner for you to not trust the way they operate in a business.
Bingo.
Right? You can have a high level manager who you don't trust in a business. And if the fans do not trust Rob Manfred with the way he's answering to the owners and the way he's running the league based on A, what they're telling him, and B, what they're not telling him, because I doubt the owners had a whole lot to do with this, because this is a commissioner's office thing, as far as I understand. There is a high level of distrust with fans and the commissioner. And I understand that's just the way sports go. Like right now, Adam Silver, I almost called him Daniel Silver, but I knew that was wrong. Adam Silver at the NBA is probably the most trusted commissioner in major professional sports right now, in North America at least. Roger Goodell, no, because the NFL's all about itself and nobody likes Roger Goodell. From what I understand, the NHL commissioner is not in a good place, but either is Rob Manfred. It's like,
no.
I think I would trust Roger Goodell over Manfred, and I can't remember the NHL commissioner's name right now, but
I don't know either.
Despite everything, it's weird.
Just bad.
Look,
it's not. The optics are terrible here.
Yeah,
which is why, baseball family, we bring it to your attention, not to drag you down, but to make sure you're informed.
That's right.
That's it. Exactly. All right, let's move on. The hot stove has been pretty quiet this week. We saw Eric Hosmer go to the Cubs on a 1-year league minimum. He still owed $39 million on his final 3 years with his contract in San Diego. Also, Brad wishes to issue an official retraction.
Retraction or clarification.
Okay.
Last week I did confuse Eric Hosmer and Mike Moustakas because I feel like they are the Amy Adams and Isla Fisher of baseball. That if they're not standing next to each other, they look a lot alike, right?
Yeah, it's Isla. It's Isla Fisher.
I'm just kidding. Get out of here. Get out of here with that. I will not be bullied into incorrect
pronunciations. And I will not be bullied into correct pronunciations, okay? Just stop it. All right, AJ Pollock goes to the Mariners on a 1-year, $7 million deal. How do you feel about this as a Mariners fan?
I think it's good. He's a good platoon for the guy who's obviously going to be the other half of that, Jared Kelenic. Because you've got Pollock, who's a righty, who, according to Jeff Passan, I haven't looked at the numbers, but he says he's mashing lefties still. And Jared Kelenic is only going to be facing righties for a little while, I would assume, at least, because he's a left-handed batter. And so you get those two, both great defensively. I think it's great. I think it's a great fit for now. 1 year's plenty.
Yeah,
I'm just going to go back though. You still got to extend Teoscar Hernandez because that guy needs to stick around.
But you need to get it this year. This is the year.
Yeah, it's got to be done
on a shoestring budget.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm sorry, Apparently. Bud. Apparently. All right. This week we want to bring a thing to your attention. A man was charged with burglarizing the Brewers clubhouse after a game. He's 25. His name is Justin Blowydorn. Just kidding. I'm mispronouncing on purpose now. Blowdorn. So he stole items from the clubhouse after a doubleheader against the Giants September 8th. In his statement, he said he drank at least 10 beers and passed out in the bushes outside the stadium. He woke up. He pulled on the doors until they opened, and then he walked in. everything he took. Here's a list of everything.
This is an amazing list. This dude had no purpose and no mission. And I love that about this so much.
He stole a game-used hat, not a bat, a hat. A 45th anniversary 1982 Brewers autographed bat. Replica World Series ring. Key to the Arizona spring training facility.
Because there's more loot there, Brig. Any pirate knows you don't start one. You got to go to location 2 because there's more loot there. And if you got a key, you got to take it.
That's right. Okay, a laptop, 2 iPods, 2 pairs of headphones. Somehow he got his hands on a passport and a credit card, a shaving kit, 3 game jerseys, which were 1 for the manager, 2 were player jerseys. And he had to have grabbed a duffel bag or something, take all this home with him, right? That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, because that's what I was wondering at first. I was like, how did he like get out of there with all this? Just like draped over his shoulder, like jerseys draped over his shoulder, a laptop under his arm, and his pocket
slightly hung over,
iPods and stuff. Staggering like, everywhere he goes, right? But they said that he took it in a duffel bag. I'm like, then why is that not listed under things that he stole? Because he definitely stole a duffel bag to put all this stuff in.
He didn't wake up drunk in the bushes and see
with a duffel bag.
Oh, a duffel bag. Huzzah!
Let's go fill it. Woo! No, he had to have taken a duffel bag out of the equipment room. 1,000% had to.
Totally turned in by his Blue Falcon roommate. That's a terrible thing to do. She said he texted him from the stadium and asked if he wanted anything. Hey, man. So he's charged with felony burglary and could face up to 12 years, 6 months in prison if convicted. Good chance he's going to get convicted. Oh, man. Justin, if this is you, man, if you're listening, I'm really sorry. But we want to talk to you, okay? We want to find out, A, are you okay? And B, what happened, man?
I would like a play-by-play of what went on.
Yeah.
I'm sure legally he can't do that, but I am really curious about what went down and how easy it is to get into a stadium. Because I'd be there to just walk around, right? I guess you just pull till it opens.
Well, where's the alarm systems? Where's the camera footage? There's got to be a security presence.
Isn't there security supposed to be walking around and stuff?
Yeah. Okay. Before we take a break, we got to check in on some homework that we assigned each other last week. First, right. Brad, he was supposed to watch the first episode of Slow Horses on Apple TV Plus, and I was charged with watching the first episode of Ted Lasso. Brad, why don't you tell us how your Slow Horses adventure went?
It went really well. So going in, I had no idea what this is about. I didn't read the synopsis, anything like that. All I knew was that Gary Oldman was playing somebody who I didn't recognize at first, that it was even him, right? Yeah. Because he looked more like Gary Oldman than Gary Oldman. But another one of my takeaways, this is actually relevant to the topic, to the rest of the show, because I felt like River Cartwright looks oddly like Jared Kelnick.
Oh,
you see that?
I'm looking now.
I was incredibly distracted by that most of the time because at the beginning I was like, who does he look like? Because I know it's not him. I've never seen this dude in anything. And then about halfway through the episode, it clicked. But I found myself slowly leaning forward into the TV as I was watching this episode. It's very, very good. Very intense.
Yeah, it's intense.
The beginning, it started off really hot, really intense.
Yeah.
So if you
look a little like Jared Kelnick.
Spy thrillers, go watch Slow Horses.
I do. It's good espionage.
Yeah,
for sure. Good. Slow burn, but there's enough character development to keep it interesting until it starts to pick up the pace, and it's
well, and it's like one of the things I felt like too, as soon as you start to figure out who people are and what's going on, like they throw something at you, you're like, oh, I was way off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
the verdict, will you keep watching it? That's the
definitely. Yeah, it's going to be my new lunchtime show.
Yes.
So
good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I watched Ted Lasso.
Finally. Real quick. I've been telling Brig for what, a year that he needs to watch this show.
Yeah, it's been a year.
So, okay, go ahead.
So I watched the first episode and I thought, well, I didn't know anything about the show either. I didn't look up the premise or anything. Turns out that a UK-based, a London-based football club, a soccer football club, hires a Division II collegiate American football coach to take over management of the team. And I was like, oh, is this just built on this weird language crossover? Is that what's going on? Is there because the person who owns the club, the soccer club, the football club or whatever, is not, well, I don't want to give anything away. Anyway, the point is
your impressions of the show.
My impressions of the show. Here's my biggest takeaway. I did not watch one episode. I watched 3 straight because I could not stop watching it. And at the end, I looked down at my watch with a tremendous amount of chagrin because I had to go to bed instead of watching episode 4. I was very angry. But my anger was consumed, surrounded by, and swallowed up in the prevailing feeling I had, which was namely that I did not want to stop feeling the way that show made me feel. I want to walk around feeling that way all the time. It is terrific. I love it.
So I don't know if you know this, Brig, but one of my favorite commercials ever in the history of TV was put out by NBC Sports. This was several years ago with Jason Sudeikis playing Ted Lasso.
What?
As an American football coach in London at the time, though, for that commercial, because the Premier League was coming to NBC Sports.
Mm-hmm.
And so they put together this commercial with Jason Sudeikis as Ted Lasso as an American football coach in London, coaching the Tottenham Hotspur. And that's where this show comes from.
Really?
It's all from like a 5-minute bit that they did.
You're okay. Now I'm gonna have to go watch that.
Yeah, I'll put the link down in the description. If you don't know what it is, go click the link and watch it. If you haven't watched Ted Lasso, go watch Ted Lasso, because this little teaser, that like this little bit, like I was completely sold. We've been quoting that commercial for, I want to say it's like 6 years.
Wow.
My wife and I have been referencing it around the house. It's so funny.
That's so awesome.
Good. So especially if you know nothing about soccer, it's even more relatable.
Oh, well, and that was what's so great about the show is I thought, oh man, we're just going to get a bunch of Americanisms and tropes about this culture clash. And that was part of episode 1, but man, it blossomed into something beautiful after that. Like you had to get those licks in, right? They had to get those in, but then after that, it was so much more.
And they're peppered throughout. But the way that they do it is they do it really, really well. It doesn't get overplayed, nothing like that. It's like stuff is just a real quick speck of it, and then it goes away.
Yeah.
You know? But Ted Lasso is a very likable character. I was worried that he was going to be a bumbling idiot in this new world that he's in.
Yeah.
And he is a little bit, but not so much that you get annoyed by him.
Right.
In fact, you're, like you said, you've never rooted for a character so fast.
Never. So I was charmed immediately. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
exactly
great.
Right. Yeah, they did a great job with that show, and I love everything about it. I've watched it twice. We'll probably watch it a third time.
It's awesome.
So,
baseball family, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about current players who may make it to the Hall of Fame.
Welcome back, baseball family. So we saw this article on Major League Baseball on MLB.com, and it is Hall of Famers who are going to be playing, or potential future Hall of Famers who will be playing in the 2023 season. So we looked at it. It's broken into what, like 10 tiers? Is it 11 tiers? I think is what it is.
Yeah, 11. Yeah, something like that.
Looks like 13 tiers. So we thought we would go through each of these tiers and, I don't know, rate what we think about how the writer is Mike Petriello with MLB.com, what he thinks about these current players and their chances of making the Hall of Fame. So let's start with tier number 1. He calls this the no questions asked first ballot legends. On this list, we have Mike Trout, Justin Verlander, Clayton Kershaw, Max Scherzer, and Miguel Cabrera.
Mm-hmm.
First, Brig, I want I want your initial impression of this list of these 5 guys.
Yeah, these probably all get in.
Are they without a doubt first ballot guys?
No.
You don't think so?
No, not first ballot.
Because that's what he says. These are no questions asked. First ballot.
No, I disagree.
Who's not?
I don't think Mad Max is not a first ballot guy.
You don't think Mad Max is a first ballot guy?
Mm-mm.
4K.
Because I said so.
Because you said so.
Yeah. Because I'm the dad.
All right, can't argue with that.
I think Clayton Kershaw could suffer the first round ballot as well. He might end up second round. I think it's his playoff performance that's really going to do it.
I could see that. Yeah.
I think Mike Trout gets in first round. I think Miggy gets in first round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think Mike Trout gets in first ballot for sure. I have seen people who think otherwise, but
yeah,
look at this, Brig. Okay,
I'm looking.
I don't like making this comparison, but I'm going to. Okay. So scared. Mike Trout made his debut at age 19. He is currently heading into his age 31 season. During that time, Brig, he has won 3 MVP awards, Rookie of the Year, and has been a 10-time All-Star. Okay. I could think of one other player off the top of my head who made his debut at age 29, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 All-Stars. And I think the only reason Mike Trout doesn't have 11 is because 2020 there was no All-Star game, right? And in that time, has 1 MVP award.
Wait, you said he made his debut at 19. It's 29 though.
What's that?
What did Mike Trout debut at 19 years old?
Yeah.
And this other guy is 29 years old.
No, this other guy made his debut at age 19. And before his age 31 season, had 11 All-Star games. I think the only reason Mike Trout does not have 11 is because there was no All-Star game in 2020.
Who's the other guy?
The other guy is Ken Griffey Jr.
Oh, man.
Ken Griffey Jr. had, and like I'm telling you, Brig, this comparison absolutely kills me. But I remember seeing Mike Trout when he was in probably his 3rd or 4th season, and thinking like this guy is the closest thing we're going to see to Griffey in a while.
Yeah.
Right. And Griffey had 3 total All-Star games in Cincinnati. The majority of like what we saw, like of who we know Ken Griffey Jr. to be, was his Seattle years and 1 year in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And that has been Mike Trout's career so far.
You're right.
I don't see any reason why Mike Trout is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Injury, current back status, like included.
Notwithstanding. Yeah.
Like I think Trout is a first ballot Hall of Famer. He could retire tomorrow and he'd be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I think so. Yeah, I think so too.
So,
what do you think of the rest of the guys on the list?
The rest of the guys on the list, Justin Verlander. Yeah. I mean, he had a couple down years before he got to Houston, but then he got to be who he is, right? In Houston.
Well, I think this year alone shows that coming back after Tommy John and doing what he did as at his age, that sealed the deal for me.
Yeah, that was like the one where it's like, yes, first ballot. I think you're right with Clayton Kershaw. I think that the playoff performances are going to haunt him.
Yeah.
But I think he could still get in. He's one of the greatest regular season pitchers we've ever seen.
I think he's getting in. I just don't think it'll be guaranteed first round. First ballot.
Max Scherzer, I think, will get in. Miguel Cabrera, absolutely. Super.
Wait, but first ballot, though, is what we're talking about.
First ballot, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is I think Max Scherzer is a first ballot Hall of Famer. And I think that Clayton Kershaw, I think he'll be close, but I think he will still get it because of his regular season performance. And I think he's going to get a little bit of mercy for the fact that the Astros were cheating.
Yeah.
That he got roughed up against the team that was stealing signs.
Repeatedly. Yeah.
So I think
we'll get to that.
I think that's a big deal. Okay, let's go to tier number 2. Late career, great cases. Zach Greinke, Joey Votto. I can't get Greinke in, honestly.
I can't either. And I like Joey Votto because I like him as a person. And I think he's a terrific ball player, but is he like an immediate thought Hall of Fame guy? No, I'd have to do analysis on Joey Votto's career to convince me one way or the other. But if you ask me, Brig, go in blind, think about Joey Votto. Does he go to the Hall of Fame? Be like, I don't know, man.
So one of the things that's interesting about Joey Votto is he does have an MVP award. He won that in 2010. He led the league in on base percentage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times in his career.
That's fantastic.
So he's kind of like I don't want to call him Tony Gwynn, but he's kind of a Tony Gwynn type hitter where he gets on base. That's what you want him to do, right?
Yeah.
But I think playing in Cincinnati really hurt him big time.
Yeah.
Because
everybody,
his contribution was not felt or seen nearly as much as anybody else's. Like Mike Trout playing for the Angels, you kind of forgive him because it's like what he's doing is otherworldly. Like I said, 3 MVPs. What he's doing is otherworldly, and everybody else around him is the failure. But you can't quite do that with Joey Votto because what he's doing is not otherworldly. It's really, really good, but at the same time, though, it's not. It doesn't feel like it's felt across the board, despite knowing that the Reds are not good.
Here's the other thing about Joey Votto. BaseballReference.com has his WAR at 64.3 right now, career WAR. That's terrific. So he is an impact player, whether you want to believe it or not. And lifetime batting average right now sits at 297. Yeah. That's a product of his times. That's a product of the times. Yeah.
Given the era that he's played in. That's not bad.
You can't compare that to like Joe D or Gehrig or any of those other guys, right? Like it's just not the same.
Even power hitters from the 90s, you can't compare that because those guys are still hit for average too.
Yeah, you can't. But I hesitate with Joey Votto. I think he'll get in, but he won't be first round. He's not going to be.
He might be a culture club guy.
He could be, and so could Greinke. But they might be like 5th year on the ballot type guys as well.
Yeah,
you never know.
Could be.
And these guys, it will depend on who else is getting votes and maybe taking votes away from them.
Yeah.
That's what's going to be a factor as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, let's head on to tier 3. The over 30 hitters on the right path. Got Paul Goldschmidt, Freddie Freeman, Manny Machado, and Nolan Arenado. I don't know if Paul Goldschmidt has been good long enough to get in. Like he's got to have. Like I don't even know how old Paul Goldschmidt is. I got to find that out real quick. But
he's like 33 or 4 or something, if I remember right. But
he's been playing since 2011. Yeah, he's 35.
Okay.
So he's kind of an old dude.
Yeah.
He was dominant in Arizona, but he's playing in Arizona, so nobody really saw him. Right. He did get his MVP this last year. Here's the thing. He's got to have astronomical numbers in the next like 3 years if he's going to get it.
Yep. And maybe a World Series appearance.
That would certainly.
I don't think they need to win, but an appearance.
An appearance would certainly help. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
With that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Freddie. What about Freddie though? Frederick.
Oof.
Frederick did historical, crazy stuff in Atlanta.
He did. He's only 33, so he's got a little bit to go still. And that having the DH is certainly going to help him. I don't know that he'll be first ballot, but I think he could get in.
This is one of those things where this is one of the reasons you're glad that the 10-year moratorium on votes is in place, because he would benefit from recency bias if it was sooner than that.
Oh, for sure. Because he had All-Star appearances in 2013 and 14, but then he's been an All-Star every year since 2018.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really good that not that I don't want him to get in the Hall of Fame. That's not what I'm saying.
But it'll be a better gauge of whether or not he should be in. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. I think you're absolutely right on that. Yeah.
I do not know what to tell you about Manny Machado. I have no idea.
So this is the thing. This is what I've decided with Manny Machado. Manny Machado is going to get the Terrell Owens treatment. He will deserve to get in based on his play. Yeah, I think Manny Machado is a Hall of Famer based on how he plays baseball. But people do not like him, so they will not vote for him.
But he's also doing this late run.
He's kind of having.
He's doing this Renaissance man thing.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a big deal.
It could be, but I think enough people are going to be like, "Oh, Baltimore Manny."
I'm starting to forget. But
I am too. Like I would like to completely forget it, but we don't have a vote.
Yeah, me too.
Not yet.
Well, it hasn't happened all the way, but it's close. I'm close.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was in NL East, I watched him a lot, and he's just a terrific ball player.
Yes.
But he was not.
Yeah, I think when he's done, he's going to have a Hall of Fame career. I just don't know if the voters are going to put him in.
That's where the Culture Club comes in again.
That's true. Yeah. So maybe he will end up there eventually anyway. Nolan Arenado?
100%.
Yep.
Stupid question.
Yes. All right, moving on. Tier 4, the mid to late 20s hitters on the right path. Mookie Betts, Bryce Harper, Jose Ramirez, Francisco Lindor, Xander Bogaerts, Trey Turner. Mookie Betts, yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Bryce Harper, yes.
Yes.
This is the thing with Bryce Harper that's funny, is that Bryce Harper has not been the LeBron James of baseball. Dominant, winning all kinds of titles and leading his teams to titles and everything like that. But Bryce Harper is a really, really, really good baseball player. And it's funny. Like, I still think it's funny that Harper's overrated. Well, yeah, because you were thinking he's going to be like the second coming of the slugger of Babe Ruth, right?
Yeah.
He's going to take everybody yard, hit more home runs than everybody in the league. But Bryce Harper has 2 MVPs, a Rookie of the Year, has led the league in OPS a couple times, slugging a couple times, home runs
been an
once,
all-star like a billion
doubles.
times.
He's an all-star like almost every year. He has some injury problems, but that's because that's the way he plays. He's an outfielder. That's the way he plays.
And he plays hard.
Yes. He's going to give you everything he's got.
Here's the thing about Bryce Harper is that he's a really good baseball player every time he steps onto the field.
Yes.
It's not like he's a really good baseball player in 2015 when he led the league in runs and home runs with 42 and all that. No, he's a really good baseball player no matter what.
Even
when he's injured.
Any game he's in, he's one of the best players on the field.
Doesn't matter who's injured. Playing. Even when he has a broken thumb or whatever and he can't throw because of his elbow thing, he's out there hitting the ball, making an impact. Yeah. No, that's a stupid question. Super dumb.
Absolutely. Absolutely there. I think he's first ballot too.
Yeah. Absolutely. Especially with the stuff that happened this last year. If we get a couple more like that from him, for sure. Well, how old is he? Let me look. He is in his age 29 season right now.
Yeah, he just turned 30 in October.
Yeah. So we got some time. We might have a good 8 or 9 from him still with the DH.
Another guy who's going to benefit from the DH.
Mm-hmm.
Big time.
Yep.
Okay, Jose Ramirez. That's tough.
I don't know.
Like, I understand that he's one of the most feared hitters in the league right now. Right. But he has not always been.
But the 2016 Jose Ramirez was also a bright spot.
Right. Yeah, because he's hit over 300 twice. It's 2016 and 2017.
Yeah.
Which is a huge deal. Like, I understand, like, batting average is not a stat still, but, like, the fact that he posted over 300, that is a big deal.
Listen, Brad, you know about art, right? In art, you have negative space, right? Like this hat. Look at my hat. The white is negative space. Okay? Right. The piece does not come together in its completion, in the fullest expression of the design without negative space, counterbalancing the other information that's in the design, right?
Right.
Batting average will always be a statistic of note, even if it's the inverse, even if all we're using it for is negative space to compare it against when batting average used to be more important than it might be at the present time.
There it is. Batting average is negative space.
It's always going to be relevant.
I think always that's what be there. I think it's batting average is negative space. is the one. That might be need to go on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, it's tough with Jose Ramirez. He's got to do a couple more. He's got to have a couple more big years. He's 30 right now. So he's got a few more good years.
I don't see it happening.
You don't think so?
I don't.
I think if he continues on the trajectory he's on right now, like his 30 through 35 seasons could be really, really, really good. And that's what could get him in, right? If he has a 7-year peak and 30 to 35 is really good. But if he kind of plateaus at 32, 33, then no.
Yeah.
And if that plateau drops off, then no, I don't think so.
Then no. Yeah. If anything goes wrong from here on out, it's not going to happen.
Right. Yep.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Francisco Lindor.
Same. If anything goes wrong, anything from here on out, it's a no-go.
He has not been the same player since he got to New York.
Mm-mm.
He was one of the best shortstops in the game in
Easily.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
But has not been that same guy in New York. And he's going to kind of need to have a little bit of a renaissance he's going to need to figure out a way to change himself to get back to that level if he's going to get in. I don't think that would necessarily happen. He might need, I don't know if it's a position change or what, but.
Well, or is it a location change? I've thought that a couple times, if that maybe it's a culture problem or it's a environment problem or something atmospheric, but I don't love this Francisco Lindor we have right now. I loved Francisco Lindor in Cleveland.
Right. Yep. I agree.
It's sad. It's actually sad.
Yeah. Yep. Xander Bogaerts.
Not right now.
No, he's got work to do. Definitely. Trey Turner. If Trey Turner keeps playing the way he is for the next 5 years, yes.
If Trey Turner keeps playing the way he's playing right now for the next 3 years, then he'll sneak in.
Yeah.
He's not going to be first ballot or anything, but within that window, he'll make it if he keeps.
And this is the thing too, is Trey Turner is also going to benefit from people watching him because he makes baseball look easy. He's so smooth when he plays. Everything about the way he plays baseball makes it look easy.
Yep. Here's the other thing about Trey Turner. Trey Turner is also playing in big markets, and big markets get lots of attention. So he's going to have. If Trey Turner had a career-ending injury in the next 3 years, he'd get in the Hall of Fame.
Knock on it, Brig. Knock.
Sorry.
Please, knock. For all of our... Oh, yeah.
Sorry. I do not want that to happen. That is literally the last thing I want to see. But I'm telling you, everybody would feel
you're right,
such
though. You're right.
I know.
Right. Yeah. Okay, let's go to Tier 5. Tier 5, this is my favorite name. Brig pointed this out to me. Tier 5. We interrupt this list to talk about the 2017 Astros.
That's what they call Tier 5.
And this is interesting, too, because you've got Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, Alex Bregman. Jose Altuve, it's widely accepted that he did not participate in the sign stealing scandal, that he specifically asked not to be told what pitch was coming. And if that continues, like if that
narrative
is true, or at least continues to hold out for the rest of his career, he'll be first ballot. Absolutely. He will. Carlos Correa and Alex Bregman, on the other hand, I don't even know if Alex Bregman is headed for a Hall of Fame career.
Nope.
Carlos Correa is headed that way, but he will be the one who is judged most harshly for this. Like, he's going to have the biggest impact on his Hall of Fame hopes.
I think Alex Bregman fits that category too.
You think so? I see. Like, I don't even think it's going to be an issue for Bregman because I don't think he's going to have a Hall of Fame career. But Carlos Correa is going to have a Hall of Fame career, and then it's going to be like, well, but he was like
really
involved. Part of that. Yeah. Like, really involved, really benefited. We saw afterwards that he is still really good, but
not as good.
Yeah. So that's Tier 5. Tier 6, your favorite. What if he hits 500 home runs? The only guy on this list is Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah. He's not going to Hall of Fame.
If he hits 500 home runs, I think he does.
Yeah, okay. If he hits 500 home runs.
He'll go down as one of the greatest home run hitters of all time, and absolutely will get in.
That's right. But if he does not hit 500, he will really require the Culture Club. He won't make it in until the Culture Club decides to bring him in.
Right. If the
he
Hall
does
of Fame
not
had
hit
a
500.
body wing, he would be first ballot, unanimous.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And we'd all, boy, they could sell tickets to that wing. You think about the revenue.
Bust, just a bust from the belt to the neck.
No, it's got to be a full body statue so that everybody can walk around.
There you go.
Full.
You're right. Okay, yeah. He would be first team, or he would be first ballot, unanimous.
Yeah,
but
you're right.
If he doesn't hit 500 home runs, he's not getting into the Hall of Fame. Tier 7. How do we evaluate relievers? This is interesting. Kenley Jansen, Craig Kimbrell, Edwin Diaz. I think relievers, you have to give them a small window because that's typically how things work, especially with closers. Like guys like Trevor Hoffman and Mario Rivera are outliers in the reliever world, right? So you can't compare everybody up against them. But I think Kenley Jansen, yes. Craig Kimbrell with what he's done, yes. Edwin Diaz, what he is doing, yes.
So Kimbrell has led the league in saves 4 consecutive times with Atlanta, 11, 12, 13, and 14. He led the league in saves. That's not small.
Right.
That's not small. He finished 64 total games in 2011. He's been an all-star 8 times, and he won the Rookie of the Year as a pitcher.
So, yeah, I think Kimbrell, absolutely. And I've heard guys talk about, like, in the Fastball documentary, the way guys talk about him, like, yeah, I think he's got to get in. Edwin Diaz, to say that he is like on track, I'm not saying that if he retired tomorrow he would be in, but if he puts together a few more good years with how dominant he's been in his good years, I think that he would be in still. I was just gonna say he led the league in saves in 2018 with Seattle. This last year he was like the man, and he's obviously Hall of Fame for his entrance song this year. He'd be up there with Mariano Rivera. But I think if he puts together a couple more good years where he's an all-star, yeah.
I disagree.
Because of how good he was during those years.
He's half as good as Craig Kimbrell and Kenley Jansen.
Right. That's why I said he's got work to do. But if he continues to have a couple more years, he would be in. Yeah. He's also way younger than those guys.
Yeah, but let's just be very clear. Well, he's 28. So he's way younger than Craig Kimbrell. And Kenley Jansen too. Yeah.
Kenley
Jansen. Mm-hmm. He's got like 1 tire left, but anyway,
around turn 4.
He's half as good. His career is half as impressive as these other guys right now. That's all.
Right, but if he can extend it though, then I think
it could be.
Yeah. Okay, tier 8. How do we evaluate starters? On this list, we have Garrett Cole and Aaron Nola. That's tough.
I need more. Sorry.
Yeah, Aaron Nola definitely has work to do. Garrett Cole, the thing that's interesting is that he was like 3 years ago, he was like first ballot on his way. But with the way he's been in New York has been concerning. And so he's got to have a couple of really good years. Like a couple of really, really good years.
Yeah. And some more playoff time. Doesn't have to be big time playoff time. Doesn't even, you know what I mean? He's not going to require World Series appearances and stuff like that, but we need more really solid playoff performances from him.
Yeah. And that's what it is, really solid playoff performances, because they just haven't really been there up to this point. And Aaron Nola, it's too early to tell with him. Yeah. Tier 9. Well, Sandy Koufax got in. We've got Chris Sale and Jacob deGrom. Chris Sale, no, I don't think so. Jacob deGrom, I think so.
Could be.
And I think that Sandy Koufax is your point.
Your alibi. Yeah.
Yeah. Because Chris Sale's almost hurting himself by continuing to play. Right?
That's how I feel. Yeah.
But DeGrom, yes, he's been hurt, but when he's out there, he's still better than anybody we've seen in the last 15, 20 years.
Yep.
He's untouchable.
Yeah. So Sandy Koufax, just for all of you wondering, has been an all-star, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. He won the Cy Young Award 3 times. He's been an MVP as well.
You're talking about Sandy Koufax?
Sandy Koufax.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Out of a 16-year career. So I don't know what the problem is with comparing anybody to Sandy Koufax. He's got a 48.9 WAR.
Remember, he ended his career early for no reason. Like, nobody knows why. That's the thing, is that it was short. Yeah. But what they're saying is that Chris Sale's a really small window so far. DeGrom, a relatively small window, but he was good before these last couple of years. I don't know what the problem is with that. I think DeGrom definitely deserves to be in, especially first ballot.
Correction, Sandy Koufax played 12 years, not 16. Sorry.
Okay. All right.
Which is short.
Yes, it is, especially for a guy as dominant as he was at the very end, even.
Yeah. Okay. All the way to the very end.
Tier 10, the Aaron Judge zone. The only guy in the Aaron Judge zone is Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
I think he's just got to continue on the path that he's on.
Yep.
If he holds serve for 5 more years, he's in.
Change nothing, and it's no doubt about it.
Yep. The Shohei Ohtani zone is tier 11. Also, the only guy, Shohei Ohtani. I already submit that he is a Hall of Famer. I know he hasn't met the time requirement, but we've talked about this. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, and for those of you who have not watched that episode, it's because he has done stuff nobody has done for 100 years and doing it better.
Way better.
Way better.
Super better unit cohesion with the team and the clubhouse, and he's not making headlines for all kinds of other shenanigans. He's really doing a good job. He's doing a great job. He could be doing a terrible job with that stuff, but he's not.
Could not be better at it.
Yeah.
Okay. Tier 12, the young legends in the making. You've got a few guys here. Juan Soto, Ronald Acuna Jr., Rafael Devers, Yordan Alvarez, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Adley Rutschman, and Julio Rodriguez.
Well, some of those are really young as far as legends in the making.
Right. Yeah, I feel like Adley Rutschman and Julio Rodriguez, the only thing you can say is if they continue on the path that they're on and the path that they're supposed to take, yes, they will be. But that's all you can say about them.
Well, because look at some of the names we've already mentioned where we're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I once thought maybe, but now I'm not so sure. Like that could be.
Yeah. Juan Soto. So Juan Soto is interesting because once he left Washington, it was like, where'd he go?
Yeah.
I'm not saying he won't come back and be Juan Soto again next year. And it might have just been a filling out period because he was not great. Mm-mm. He got booed in San Diego.
It was depressing.
It was. And he did not play well in the playoffs. So that's a problem. We're hoping that Juan Soto can return to form next year.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't, and we just had this 3-year peak of him, that would be troubling.
Travesty, really.
Yeah. Big time.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know about that.
Ronald Acuna Jr. You don't think he's on the path? Obviously, he's not in right now.
I don't know, man. He stopped loafing, and that's good.
Yeah.
that's all I can say is that thank you for not slouching. Yeah.
So he's 25, currently 25, just barely a month ago turned 25. He won a Rookie of the Year. He missed a lot of time with an ACL injury, but he came back and was still balling out.
Yeah.
So I think, like I said, it's all about trajectory with these guys. I think if he continues on kind of a level trajectory up, he'll get in. Rafael Devers, probably the same thing. Yordan Alvarez, I would say he's certainly on his way.
Yeah, Alvarez is for sure.
So, and Vlad Guerrero is interesting because this year we all thought he was going to win the MVP, right?
Yep.
But kind of an underwhelming season.
Alas, he did not.
Yeah, kind of an underwhelming season by his standards.
Yeah, I agree.
But I don't know. He's got to get back up there. He's got to be an MVP candidate every year again.
Mm-hmm.
So
top 5.
Yeah. And then we talked about Adley Rutschman and Julio Rodriguez. Okay. We'll stop there. 12 or tier 13 is the field, and I don't care about that right now, but we'll get there eventually. Let us know what you think about this, and you can do that by hopping into the mailbag. There's a link in the description of every single episode. So we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to talk about the book club.
Baseball family, thanks for joining us on this week's episode. We have one last thing for you really quickly. We are introducing a new segment where we will be going into book club mode a little bit for our off-season / hot stove / winter meetings progression through things. As we wait for the baseball season to start, we wanted to give you more baseball content, and we decided this would be a great way to do it. So without further ado, we are announcing a book that we want you to read with us. Brad and I have already read this previously, and we decided it would be a really killer experiment to get your opinions on it and to really dive into what has happened in the last 23 years since the book was published. None other than Fair Ball by Bob Costas. We've talked a lot about Bob on the show, his opinions, his career, and he makes a case. It's called A Fan's Case for Baseball is the subtitle. I've got it right here. You can get it on thrift books for like $6 right now. It's on Amazon. You do it on your Kindle. Brad's got his on his Kindle, and you can get it on Audible as well. He narrates it himself on Audible. So if you like Bob's voice, do it that way. It's a great option. If you hate Bob's voice, do not do it on Audible because that will be a travesty for you. What's interesting, though, is that Bob Costas takes baseball from the year 2000, 1999, 2000, and he goes through all of the different things that he would change, all of the different things he loves about it, all of the things that he thinks needs a different opinion on or a different look from the way it has been in the past. And I found it really insightful. Brad had the same. Yeah, it was really insightful. Definitely. So we want to know what your opinions are. And like we said, we're going to read it with a little bit of a finer tooth comb this time to see if any of the things he predicted, and or hoped for in the book have begun to come true, or if we've gotten further and further away from all of the things that Bob Costas would like to have seen. So please join us in reading Fair Ball. I'm going to give you the format and that we're going to read it in. It's a very short read. It's about 177 pages. It's exactly 177 pages. Here's the program for you. We're just going to do over the next 4 weeks. So we're going to read chapters 1, 2, and 3 by next week. That's the 17th of January. That's 50 pages. Okay. And then chapter 4, 5, and 6 will be the next week. Chapter 7, 8, and 9. And then chapter 10 through the end is how we're going to do it over the next 4 weeks. It's 40 or 50 pages a week. It's not a big deal. What we want to do what we're hoping for is that you'll engage with us on this and really make it fun. And let's get this conversation started. So we want to get comments, concerns, questions, anything you might want to hear about on the show. If you want to shout out on the show, we'd be happy to shout you out and bring your comment up and we'll discuss it. But we're going to do that. You can submit via the mailbag always at baseballtogether.com. You can jump in the private Facebook group at 9+Us VIPs on Facebook. And you can always comment on YouTube, just right here in the show notes on YouTube in the doobly-doo thingy-dig. And we will get to those. We read them all. We comment on as many as we feel like, I guess.
As we see fit, I guess.
Yeah, as we see fit. But we love engaging with our audience, and our baseball family is very important to us. So please engage with us on this. It's going to be a really fun experience, and we're going to do more. So this is just the first of many. Mm-hmm. One thing we wanted to mention, and I can see it on the tip of Brad's tongue, is that we're also wanting to know what book we should read next. So as this draws to a conclusion, please let us know. We're gonna start running votes on what books we should read next, and there's a lot of great baseball books out there. So if you have suggestions on what to read next, hit us up.
That's right. And the other thing I was going to say too, Brig, is that if you A, don't want to buy the book, or B, want to try Audible, we have a link for a free trial for Audible. That's down in the description. We are an affiliate with Audible, so you're not only getting a book to listen to and trying out Audible for free, but you're also helping out the podcast every time you do that as well. So go ahead, click that link, try Audible, listen to Fair Ball by Bob Costas if you like the sound of his voice, like Brig said, because we'd hate for it to be a terrible experience. But that's down in the show notes. That's going to be towards the top, so it's easy to find. But baseball family, thank you so much for joining us. Brig, do we want to tell them about the last day of the shop? We're going to be doing some remodeling around here.
We're going to do
last
remodeling.
Day of the shop is going to be February 1st. So if you want to get something off the shop as it currently stands, head on over there and get it now. That's 9plusus.com. Spell it out, NINEPLUSUS NINEPLUSUS.com and get yourself something nice while it's there, because there's going to be some hacking and chopping and remodeling to the shop.
These mugs might not be available anymore. Sorry. But if you want one, now would be the time to jump in and grab one. As an example.
Yep. But baseball family, don't forget to like and subscribe and rate and review, all the fun things, all that stuff that we talk about every single week. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss anything like book club and whatever else fun stuff that we got going on. But baseball family, thank you so much for joining us, and we will catch you next week.